Alright mate, how you doing, and welcome back to another episode of IMO. And this week, in my opinion, based on their very poor performance against Manchester City, Premier League champions Chelsea are in need of some medical attention. But where's Dr. Eva when you need her? Yes, that's right, after losing 3-0 to Manchester City, Chelsea fans are not going to be happy. And nor is their manager, Jose Mourinho, who came out and said the result was a fake result. There was nothing fake about that, Jose. You got spanked. You didn't even have a shot until the 70th minute. Not good enough from you. You want to call yourself champions again? You got to up your game, Chelsea. Now, obviously, Mourinho's treatment of his medical team, particularly club doctor Eva Conheiro, has kind of been dominating the media since their 2-2 draw with Swansea. But there's no escaping the headlines this week. Everyone's going to be talking about the fact that Man City played Chelsea off the park and really sent a message out to their Premier League title contender rivals. Now, for a long time, Mourinho's been a master at manipulating the press to focus on the things that he wants them to focus on, instead of perhaps some inherent weaknesses with his own squad or his own team's performances. That's what he did against Swansea. Obviously, there were some question marks about the way Chelsea played there, but instead, he got everyone talking about this whole doctor, club medical team issue, and just took their eyes away from the prize and criticising his team. Very clever tactic. However, when you do stuff like that, you need to kind of back it up at a later stage with performances on the pitch, which he hasn't done against Man City. Yes, he was away from home, but he will not be happy at losing that game 3-0, and now he cannot escape some much deserved criticism. It is a results game after all, and when you play the kind of mind game tactics that Mourinho plays, it's okay if you're winning, but as soon as you stop winning, people are going to look at you and say you're not doing your actual job properly. You're spending too much time on the media side, on things like criticising your medical staff for doing nothing wrong really. All they did was come on the pitch to treat a player after having been beckoned by the referee twice. Mourinho went mental at them, really unfair treatment of his medical staff, and now he's been made to look like a bit of a pantomime villain more than ever. And it made me think, Jose Mourinho, he feels a little bit different this season. His temperament's changed. There's a big difference between defending a title and trying to win a title that he didn't win the season before. Now the pressure's on him to defend it. And I feel like we're seeing more of the Mourinho that we saw a couple of years ago. He went on record to say that Chelsea were a little horse, trying to undermine the title ambitions of clubs like Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool at the time. He called his club a little horse. His club being one of the clubs that spent more money than anyone else in recent years, apart from perhaps Man City. So it was an absolutely absurd statement to make. But it worked. It put pressure on the other clubs. It's what he's expert at doing. It also took pressure off of him. He finished third that year, and the Chelsea fans seemed okay with that because he was, it was his first season back in the job, and he was trying to build the squad into the squad that he wanted. But he did that last year. He got the squad he wanted, and fair play, he won the title very convincingly. This year, he hasn't really strengthened it too much, and the clubs around him have strengthened, and now I think he's starting to feel the pressure again, and as a result of that, he starts to make these statements and these comments, trying to just evade criticism, which should be coming his way and his players' way. Obviously, it's early days in the season. We're only 2 games in. There's still plenty of time for Chelsea to win the title, as a lot of people have suggested they will. But you can't ignore the fact, the only transfers they've done is Begovic, who's not a first-choice keeper. He's only playing right now because Courtois is banned, or was banned, and it looks like he's going to be bringing in this left-back Rahman, who is, by all accounts, a decent player, but he's probably only going to be second choice to Azpilicueta at left-back. So he's not really improved his first team, whereas clubs like Man United have done a lot of business with Schneiderlin, Depay, Schweinsteiger and others. Man City have brought in Sterling, they've brought in Delph. They're going to be bringing in other people, it looks like, as well. Otamendi could be going to either of the Manchester clubs, which is going to strengthen them even more. And even if Chelsea do sign John Stones, the young promising Everton defender, he's probably not going to walk straight into their first team either. So all these signings, they're kind of long-term buys, but are they going to help him this season? I'm not sure. It seems like Chelsea are lacking something. They lost the Community Shield to Arsenal. Yes, it's a glorified friendly, but it signifies something. They haven't got a win in the league yet. The red card against Swansea didn't help, but still, playing Man City, back in the day, Mourinho would not have dropped points there. He would have got himself at least a draw, even if he's playing away. He was an expert at getting those sort of results when he faced people like Pellegrini and Wenger. These are managers he's got a really good record against over the last few years, but this year, he's played them both once and he's lost both times. is the tide turning? Every week that goes by, I feel like Mourinho's becoming less of the special one and more of a grumpy old man. Is it time to give someone like Cuadrado more of a chance? You know, they brought him in January. He's got that X factor, something that no one else on the pitch, apart from maybe Hazard, can offer. You know, he can beat a man. He's got that flair. You know, Willian has been a solid performer, but yesterday he kind of played Willian in the middle and had Ramirez on the right-hand side. Cuadrado there is a completely different dynamic to what Ramirez offers there. And if they start playing Cuadrado, it will be like a new signing because he's barely had any minutes on the pitch thus far. I'm not saying Cuadrado is the answer to all their problems, far from that. I'm just saying Chelsea need to change something up because it feels like clubs are being able to predict the way they're going to play. They're stopping them doing what they did last season so well. Diego Costa yet to get a goal. Fabregas hasn't looked like the Fabregas of early last season. So they need to change something. Cuadrado could be a man that could offer something. Maybe they need to do some more business in the transfer window, or maybe you guys think this is just a blip and Chelsea are going to find their form eventually. They've still got a very, very good squad, and there's a reason they haven't gone out and splashed the cash on, you know, some big names, because many would argue they don't need them. They've got a really good squad already. I'd say it's a little bit thin. You know, Diego Costa gets injured. Remy is not of the quality Diego Costa is, and Falcao is unproven in the Premier League still. A lot of people, myself included, believed that Mourinho was the man to get the best out of Falcao, but that remains to be seen. Likewise, John Terry played every single minute of last season's Premier League winning campaign. That was well documented, that fact. He's been subbed off against Manchester City. Now, don't underestimate how big a event that is, that he took off Terry. The guy that was ever present for him last season. He said, no, you're not working. We need a faster defender on. We'll put on Kurt Zouma. You know, the times are changing. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that Chelsea have shown a lot more chinks in their armour than I would have expected by this point in the season. They've not come out and dominated the way that people that tipped them as the potential title winners again thought they would. Man City are looking dynamite. 6 goals, none conceded, 2 clean sheets. Vincent Kompany and Mangala are doing very well together. That didn't look like a good partnership last year, but this year it's looking solid. Joe Hart, 2 clean sheets in 2 games, can't argue with that. Chelsea could have lost to Man City 4 or 5-0 if not for Begovic making some amazing saves. So they've got a lot of work to do. They need to win the next game, or they're in trouble. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Is this just a little bit of dodgy form from Chelsea, and are they going to find it in the next few weeks and start picking up points? Or are they in a spot of bother? Is losing that game to Manchester City a sign of things to come? Are they going to let the Premier League trophy slip from their hands? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed this episode of IMO. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you when you're older. But remember, this has all been in my opinion. Don't go changing.